already. WRAL's Brian Mims is live at Murray Tire and Auto in Raleigh to show us what to look for. Brian?
Catherine, pop quiz. Where is the catalytic converter? It's underneath the vehicle, a canister attached to the exhaust pipe in this Nissan Pathfinder. It's in a difficult to reach spot, but there it is. What does the catalytic converter do? It converts toxic gases such as carbon monoxide into safer gases, thus going easier on the environment. But thieves only see easy money.
Right, looks like a little honeycomb or something.
Yeah, that, or maybe the screen from a porch door. But that filter is where the good stuff is.
Platinum, palladium, rhodium.
Platinum, palladium, rhodium, precious metals all. There's precious little in a catalytic converter, but enough to fuel random acts of thievery.
And that's what brings these prices from $5 per converter to $150 per converter.
Ronnie Thompson is president of TT&E, a salvage yard in Garner. If you're looking to sell a catalytic converter here, you better have your business bona fide.
Questions are everything. We always ask them, what shop they're coming from, who they work for. A lot of times we'll back it up with a phone call.
Because the last thing he needs is to buy a converter that somebody stole from an apartment parking lot or a used car dealership.
They're using cordless sawzalls.
That's just what happened to Alex Cardinale, owner of Capital City Auto Brokers. 4 of his cars were hit between October and December.
As far as a retail value, it was about $7,000.
$7 grand that he had to pay himself to replace the devices.
Not only does it cost money, but it costs time and also the lost, attempt at the sale.
His SUVs were the main target because it's easier to crawl beneath. So now he's parking them at the front of the lot, making them more visible to the passing public. Plus,
we've installed additional lighting in the parking lot.
Maybe the thieves will see the light when those precious metals they're after leave them holding only scrap.
The DOT is willing to disturb the dead in order to widen a state highway. The road that we're talking about is Broadway Road. It's Highway 42 in Sanford right here. You can see how it funnels down right here to 2 lanes right after the intersection with 421. Well, expanding the road will preserve the Shallowwell United Christ Church. That's right here, but not the dozens of graves you see surrounding the church on both sides of the road. Brian Mims shows us the community's reaction to relocating their loved ones' remains.
On the day the McIvers' baby girl lived and died, Highway 42 carried horses.
That was a dirt road.
Not horsepower.
The cemetery was started in 1881.
Who, way back then, could imagine big rigs rumbling by the baby's grave?
I said, when you're messing around with cemeteries in the South, you're not just messing with a grave, you're messing with family heritage and history.
Donald Thompson is pastor of Shallowwell Church, where the McIver baby and some 200 others resting beneath granite and grass are in the way of growth.
We're helpless to do anything about it.
Folks on Facebook aren't feeling all that helpless. I wouldn't want my loved ones dug up so they could build a bigger road, one writes. They've started a petition to stop the DOT's plans to widen 42 to 4 lanes with a median.
Seems overkill with bike lanes and sidewalks and all this stuff.
But the DOT says the traffic is expected to double in 20 years.
Projections, we always design projects out 20 or so years.
Division engineer Brandon Jones says there's just no way to avoid the cemetery. What with the Highway 421 interchange right around the bend, still he gets the community's anger.
I think about it if it was me. First I wouldn't want it to happen to my loved one, but if it did, I'd want it to be handled very sensitively and with as greatest care as possible. And that's what we want to do.
The DOT will work with a funeral director during the whole process, and the church plans to rebury the deceased elsewhere on the property.
Even have the opportunity to do a little service.
Evander Thomas there died in 1920, the year our state's Good Roads governor was elected.
Progress is progress.
But progress doesn't always let us rest in peace. Brian Mims, WRAL News, Sanford.
The latest drama playing out at a community theater in Sanford isn't on the stage, it's in the back office.
Police are looking into claims that someone stole more than $130,000 from Temple Theater. WRAL's Brian Mims shows us how the community is rallying around its historic theater.
To look at the Temple Theater from the street, you can hear the 20s roar. The old marquee, the Coca-Cola ad on the brick, they can quench our thirst for nostalgia.
It's the memories and the ambiance.
Krista Lambert is business director of the temple, which opened as a vaudeville house in 1925.
And was the centerpiece for all of downtown.
Its plays and musicals move 40,000 people through the doors every year. Tour groups come just to admire the place. But in January, theater management alerted police that $132,400 was gone, embezzled. Neither the temple's business director, is there anything you can say about the incident? No. Nor Sanford police would discuss the case. Police have not named a suspect, but the police report filed by the theater's artistic director accuses someone of fraudulently making personal transactions without approval from the business. It's not all just show business either. This theater is big business for downtown Sanford. It brings in nearly $3 million a year, and the city has contributed $190 grand over the last decade.
A theater like this you just simply don't see. And when you look at what we do from a production standpoint, we're probably the smallest community in North Carolina that has a professional theater in it.
Private donations, along with city and county grants, keep the curtains raised.
It's just a great place to see a show, to see a concert.
The show will go on. Our thirst for nostalgia quenched. Brian Mims, WRAL News, Sanford.
Some parents in Cary are fighting to keep a gas station from moving in next to their children's elementary school.
The project was approved to go next to Hortons Creek Elementary. That's on O'Kelly Chapel Road. Opponents have collected more than 1,600 signatures on a petition to stop this gas station from happening. As WRAL's Brian Mims reports, they see it as a health and safety threat for their children.
Every driver knows the drill. Fuel in, fumes out. And every driver knows the smell. Nothing Pranab Mehta wants his asthmatic child breathing in.
Our most vulnerable people, and this is what we're doing. We're building a gas station right next door. It makes no sense.
His son attends Hortons Creek Elementary School in Cary. A 12-pump gas station is planned roughly 400 feet from the pre-kindergarten playground. He and other parents are worried about the exposure to benzene, a chemical found in fuel vapor that the CDC says can, in large doses, cause cancer. But environmental regulators say the gas station would be at a safe distance.
There's risks involved, and the chances, I mean, maybe smaller than we anticipate, but a risk is a risk.
Parents Amy Ward and Nilesh Mistry say with a gas station, too, come alcohol and cigarette sales.
Having a commercial zone right next to a school, it's okay as long as it's candy stores or maybe, you know, if it's a bagel shop or a coffee shop or something where kids can hang out.
At this point, it might be too late to put the brakes on this project. The town's Development Review Committee is in gear to approve it. And despite the objections, there's really nothing blocking the way. Cary's assistant planning director, who was unavailable to speak on camera, says the project meets all zoning and code requirements, but these parents say fuel pumps don't fit.
And this is not even a commercial area where you'll have a lot of traffic going in and out, so I just don't understand the business sense in having a gas station right here.
Now they just hope their petition will put a lid on the whole idea. Brian Mims, WRAL News, Cary. The employee blamed for a false missile alert in Hawaii is not cooperating with investigators. The Federal Communications Commission, the FCC, says the employee gave an initial statement but has not spoken with investigators since then. Hawaii's Emergency Management Agency says the worker was disciplined and reassigned after the mistake, but not fired. We have new reaction to a ruling by the state Supreme Court. It says the General Assembly overstepped its authority last year when it overhauled the State Elections Board. The ruling said the way the Board of Elections and the Ethics Commission were combined interferes with Governor Cooper's ability to ensure that election laws are properly carried out. President Pro Tem Phil Berger called the ruling, quote, breathtakingly partisan in a series of tweets. And he said lawyers are still reviewing the ruling. Now to the government shutdown. Tomorrow, senators could vote on a Republican plan to reopen the federal government. A vote is on track to happen early tomorrow, but Democrats say they have votes to block it. Republican Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell, you see there, has proposed a plan to finance the government through February 8th. Finger pointing
And the blame game go on as Democrats say they want a deal with President Trump on certain issues. Republicans say they want to continue a discussion. More news now. A woman is charged with murder after a deadly shooting in Lumberton last night. Police say they found 41-year-old Kenneth Wayne Bryant shot to death at an apartment on 9th Street. 46-year-old Angela Simone Irons is charged with first-degree murder and possession of a firearm by a felon. Police have not given us a motive for the shooting. Cary police have arrested a man accused of assaulting an officer. 38-year-old Demetrius Watson is charged with felony assault with a deadly weapon on a government official and felony hit and run. Police sent us surveillance images Wednesday night from the Circle K on Kildare Farm Road. An officer was responding to a trespassing call and approached Watson, who was sitting in an SUV. Investigators say Watson put his car in reverse, dragging that officer. The officer was treated and released from the hospital. A moped driver died in a crash that shut down a stretch of southbound I-85. This crash occurred yesterday near exit 214 in Henderson. Yesterday early in the morning, police say the driver of the moped, who has not been identified, was traveling in the right lane when a car crashed into the back of the moped. Police have not said whether any charges have been filed. Across the country, this flu season has been especially miserable. The CDC has provided an update on the deadly flu emergency, which has killed 30 children. NBC's John Torres shows us how hospitals are dealing with all the sickness.
Okay, it's just
Kerbler's daughter, Cambry, woke up with 100